Here's the long-tail eel. Look at this thing. It's great, isn't it? Nice and large. Let's get a new hook in here. You'll find that the hair on this fly gets caught all over the place because there's so much of it and it's so long. So don't get too annoyed by that. Start with the thread towards the back of the hook here. And then we're going to start with the white material here first. So we're going to measure it back to about the end of my vise here on the left. I'm not going to use the full thickness of this because we don't need to. So I'm just going to peel off a section about like that. Let me just measure that again. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to come in with my synthetic scissors here. A little bigger scissors for the job. And now I'm just going to lock that in on the hook. Same thing for the green. I'm going to bring that up here. Measure it to same length as the white. Again, I don't need the whole section here, so I'm just going to peel off a little bit. Use my scissors to cut that off. And pull the rest off to the side here. Measure that up to the back and lock that onto the hook too. I kind of want the front of these materials tied down. You normally would do that anyway, but because you've got the tubing material coming up in a minute, we just don't want it kind of sticking up out of in the way at all. So get that locked down. Now we're going to throw on some of the flash material. I'm going to take a couple of pieces here, and I should be able to just match it up in length. Take the loop of it and tie that right here. That should allow me to lock in both at the same time. Back that up a little so we've got more length. That kind of pushes it to the back of the hook and the front of the hook. And now we're going to bring the tubing material in. Now there is a core to this, so you want to pull the core out. Now slide this over, back over our threads, and then see where we need to cut it. Now we can just back it out a little bit. I'm going to cut this right here. And I'm going to melt it kind of quick with my lighter, just to kind of control those little fibers before we get to them. I'm going to wrap this forward just a little bit. And then do a quick little whip finish. Actually, we can't whip finish because the whip finisher I'm using is too big or too small. So we'll do a few half hitches on this. And then cut that material off. Now we're going to tie this thread back onto the front of the hook. We got to peel this back. And then get that thread locked in. I come in and just snip off the excess again. Now we're going to use that to tie down this material. By burning that end, it allows us to make it so it's not too frayed up front. Now there is a little bit of a bulk there from the melt. We'll just tie that down with some thread. Notice how I'm pinching here on the tubing. That's going to be okay. It's going to kind of give us a flat surface to work with to add the eyes. So we're going to whip finish this. Snip off that thread. And now it's time for these tiny little eyes. These things can often be a challenge to work with. I'm going to try to take that eye, put it here, and just kind of slide the paper off from underneath it. That is the first time I've done it like that, and it worked pretty well. So now, on the other side, same thing. I'm going to kind of hold that eye, peel the paper off of it. Okay, that worked out real well actually. I should probably do some kind of patent pending on that idea. So now we're going to take this. You've seen this before probably, the Wild Water UV resin. This stuff is great. I've used it to fix all kinds of stuff. It does come out kind of fast sometimes, So there's a little drop there for that eye. I'm going to try to do a little drop here. And then we can use our light to lock it in, to set the epoxy. And there is the long tail eel.